Welcome to Truth Uncovered. You didn't stumble upon this video by accident. You're here because something deep inside you is shifting. Maybe you're healing. Maybe you're growing. Or maybe you're finally waking up to your worth. This isn't just another get over her video. This is transformation. Whether you're coming out of a breakup, walking away from a toxic situationship, or simply choosing to go quiet, this is for you. Don't skip. Watch all the way through. Because once you understand what truly happens when you go silent, as a tactic, but as a truth you'll never chase, explain, or settle again, let's uncover it. What really happens when you go silent, when you stop texting, stop calling, stop explaining, stop reaching, it's not just the absence of noise. It's the presence of power. And while it may feel calm, even lonely on your side, on hers, the ripple effects are devastatingly loud. But here's the catch: it doesn't hit her all at once. It unfolds in stages. Let's break it down one at first. She feels relief. Strange, right? But it's true. When you first withdraw, she doesn't panic. She breathes. She thinks you're cooling off, that you're resetting, that you've finally taken the hint. To her, it feels like a win. You're not texting. You're not double-checking if she's okay. You're not chasing after half-hearted replies. To her, it's peace. But it's not the kind of peace that comes from resolution. It's the fake calm that comes from control. She thinks she still has it. She believes, deep down, that this is just the quiet before the usual storm of you returning, apologizing, and proving your love. She's leaning back into her ego, relaxed, unbothered, smug. What she doesn't realize, this time, the silence isn't a pause. It's a finale. You're not resetting, you're resigning. You're not pulling away, you're reclaiming. You're not hoping for her attention. You're choosing your own sanity. And that is a completely different energy. Too. Then comes ... confusion. Few days pass. No texts, no calls, no reactions to her stories, no likes on her bait posts, nothing. The stillness stretches longer than she expected. And suddenly, that comfort she felt begins to fracture. Now her mind starts to wander. Why hasn't he reached out? Is he upset? Is he over? Wait, has he really moved on? This silence, it's not like before, because you've gone quiet not as a move, but as a man who's done being misunderstood. And that's what baffles her. She remembers the version of you who would have texted by now. The man who'd follow up, show up, explain himself, apologize, beg. But that man is gone, vanished, replaced by someone still, composed, unavailable. You're unreadable now, and the unknown terrifies her. 3. The confusion evolves into doubt. Confusion left unchecked doesn't just fade, morphs into doubt. And doubt is dangerous. It whispers in her mind at night. It pokes holes in her pride. It flips the script on everything she believed. Now, she's not just wondering why you're silent, she's questioning her own role in the story. Did I go too far? Did I mistake his effort for weakness? Was I the one who pushed him away? She begins to replay the moments she dismissed you, the texts she left unread, the time she pulled away while you leaned in. Suddenly, that image she painted of you being too emotional or too much begins to crumble. Now, the question isn't, why did he disappear? It's, what if I lost something real and I didn't even notice? And that realization, it doesn't let her rest. Point 4, the silence, ... starts to scream. It used to be background noise. No, it's the loudest thing in the room. She feels it when she checks her phone and sees nothing she posts, hoping you'll take the bait. An old song lyric, a subtle memory, a story hinting at her freedom. But nothing. No slip-ups, no accidental likes, no breadcrumb trails, just pure intentional absence. This isn't ghosting. This isn't blocking. This is graceful disengagement. It's not aggressive. It's not bitter. And that makes it even more powerful now. Your silence is louder than any argument ever could be. It says, I've made peace without needing your validation. 5. Her ego takes a hit. This is where the walls begin to crack. She believed up to this point that she still held the upper hand. That time was on her side. That the window to reach you was still open. But now she realizes. You're not angry. You're not bitter. You're not desperate. You're just done. You didn't storm out. You didn't cry. You didn't make a scene. You simply stopped showing up. That indifference is fatal to the ego. You see, she could handle your emotions. She knew how to navigate your frustration. She could manipulate your guilt. But your silence, that's unmanageable. Because silence isn't a weakness, it's a boundary. And boundaries are where control dies. 6. The spiral begins at this point. She starts checking your profile at 2 a.m., scrolling through old texts. Wondering if someone new now sees the version of you she dismissed. The calm is gone. Her thoughts spiral. Did I matter to him? Is he faking it the whole time? Who is he with now? She might reach out in subtle ways. A memory snap. A late night hey. A comment on something random. Something to bait a reply. But you've elevated beyond that game. Because your silence wasn't meant to teach. Her lesson it was meant to protect your soul. You've learned how to detach without turning cold. And that is what she never expected. 7. She starts to see you differently now. The narrative shifts. You're no longer the man who wanted too much. You're the man who gave too much and walked away. When it wasn't appreciated, you become rare in her mind. Not because you disappeared, but because you disappeared. With dignity, you're not posting thirst traps. Not trying to prove you're happy. You're simply absent, and absence makes her realize. You weren't obsessed with her. You were invested. You weren't needy. You were committed. She confused your devotion for weakness, and now she sees it clearly. She lost someone who was all in, and he's not coming back. 8. You rise. Without revenge, you didn't go silent to get her tension. You did it to get clarity. You stopped explaining yourself to someone who only listened to respond, not understand. You stopped pouring love into someone who handed you their ego in return, and in that stillness you rose. You're not out here trying to win the breakup. You're not waiting for a response. You've moved into a space where your peace is priority, where your boundaries are non-negotiable, where your silence is not. Bitterness sits self-respect. 9. When she finally reaches out. You're already gone. One day when she finally texts, finally calls, finally admits what she lost. It won't matter, because by then, you've healed. Not with another woman, but with yourself. You've rebuilt the parts of you that bent too far just to be loved. You've strengthened the parts of you that stayed too long in spaces that felt unsafe. And now, she doesn't get access, not because you're punishing her, but because you've learned. Some people were only meant to be chapters, not your conclusion. Final message. If you've made it this far, you've done what most men never do. You stopped seeking closure from someone who wasn't capable of giving it. You stopped proving your worth to someone who was blind to it. You stopped talking. And in that silence, you found yourself. So if this video spoke to you, if you're done chasing, done explaining, done begging, typed in the comments, "My silence protects my peace." And let the world know you've evolved. Hit the like button if this touched something inside you. Subscribe if you're done explaining your worth to people who didn't deserve you. Turn on notifications, because this isn't just a channel. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth uncovered.